Steve Owens.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here with us today.
I thank y'all for inviting me in.
So we were trying to think of a good title for you mere seconds ago.
Yeah.
And I think the Memphis resident roadie is pretty good.
I think that works.
So I don't know you a whole lot. I'm looking forward to getting to know you here on these microphones in real time and learning more about you. I know you know Mr. Jeff over here a little more, and we appreciate you stepping in here.
Yeah.
And from what I've learned and I've seen firsthand, now that we have a new Facebook page, you just support. You love this community, and we are grateful for that.
Well, that's what it's all about is helping everybody and supporting everybody. I mean, just like supporting y'all, you know. And thank y'all for doing what you're doing, because we need this.
Yeah.
Memphis needs the publicity from something like this, because there's so many musicians out there, so many great bands in Memphis that they don't get the publicity that they should.
Yeah.
And this is going to help get them out beyond the 50 or 100 people that come and see them every week.
Yeah.
You know,
That is definitely our hope. We want to grow this thing to where it's just, I'd like to see it be national.
yes.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
when I first had this idea a long time ago, and I don't want to keep repeating myself on this, but I've said this several times, but it was a fun idea because I have a lot of music friends, and get them in here and then grow it from there.
Right.
And then organically it turned into Jeff co-hosting this with me. And thanks to Jeff, he opened my eyes to like the deep Memphis community, the original artists.
Yes.
And now it's turning into, okay, now we're here to just do everything we can to support and how we can. And this is what I do. And I felt like, producing a podcast would help that reach, so put my powers to good, I guess. But thank you. Enough about me.
Yeah.
So where are you from, Steve?
I'm from here.
Right here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Here, actually, Hernando, Eudora.
okay.
I've lived here pretty much my whole life. I lived in New Orleans I think we lived down there about 2 years, and moved back up here. This is my home. This is where I'm from. I don't care where you go. No music compares to the music here.
Yeah.
So the bands here are excellent, top notch. You've got national acts right here that play on the stage every week.
Yeah.
That should be in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
I totally agree. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, we had a great movement here, and a lot of acts got that national attention. And we have the same level of talent now, and the attention just doesn't seem to be there. And that's terrible. And maybe we can do a little bit to help that. But it's just, man, there are just some amazing bands that play every weekend.
Yep.
And you are always right there to help them and to do things with them. And that's what we wanted to get you in here for, because we think that guys like you and Danny Day, and I did it years ago, the help that you give these bands, loading in, loading out, just getting them the things they need is hugely important. And we just want to give you a platform to talk about it.
I thank you for that.
It's because it's always needed.
Yeah.
And we certainly can't afford, right? In a very perfect world.
Yeah.
You have people coming in and help stuff up.
Yeah.
And you come in like Batman, man. They just, I don't even think they have to put up the bat signal for you. You just show up.
Yep.
So,
and you're about to do something this evening, and we can talk about that now. It's going to be kind of weird because of the way that we publish this.
We have so many benefits going on, and especially when there is a benefit, that's when I really try to push it and try to help, because that's part of the Memphis music community is more of a family.
Right.
So especially if a family member has a problem,
right, then
everybody steps up and does what they can to raise money to help them.
Sure.
And that's one of the great things about being a part of this. It's a family community. It's not, my aunt's got cancer. Oh, well, condolences. No, it's let's put together a fundraiser to raise money for them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everybody does. Everybody steps up. And that's the great thing about Memphis, because the bad thing about it is you've constantly, seems like this time of the year, you've got fundraiser after fundraiser after fundraiser, but you can't control what happens.
Sure. And there's a reason for those fundraisers.
And is it also because kind of leading into the holidays,
right?
So they ramp up a little more?
The majority, and I'm going to throw this out there, Rick Hale, every year he does the Christmas for the kids.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. And then you've got Michelle that does with the Kitchen and the Cross, raises money to feed homeless people.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have this family member over here get sick, this person passes away, and all of it, for some reason, it seems like this time of the year, for some reason, it all hits at once.
Right.
But like I said, you can't control what happens.
Right. You can just step up to the plate and do what needs to be done. Yeah. And that's great that you mentioned Rick and Michelle, what they do. You can't help but mention the venues like Hadley's and the Crossing and so many places that step up for this sort of thing. Neil's.
And, it's bars like that, clubs like that, people like that donate the door. We're not charging you when you come in. We don't take half of the pot. All of it goes to this.
Right.
So when you go in and you pay $10 or $15 at this benefit, the club's not getting that money. That money is going to these people. So that's a good thing, because you've got, haven't dealt with them, but I would imagine there's some out there that's like, no, we won't have the pot.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it's about.
Right.
So, but Neil's and Hadley's are the main two that step up in the Crossing, that step up and say, hey, y'all use our place. You get the bands in here and have at it.
That's awesome.
It's a win-win.
Yes.
They're trying to do it for the right reasons too. I'm sure they have their heart behind that as well. But let's face it, also brings business.
Right.
So it's a
Alcohol
win-win.
sales.
Yeah. It's a win-win.
That's where they make the money at. So,
And we just had Tim Dills here just a few days ago.
Yeah. And
that was one of the things we talked about. And again, me having this enlightenment and really finally seeing this community, even though it's been in front of me since 2011.
Right.
That these bands step up for these benefits. And then going back to the win-win, it gives them exposure, doesn't it? It gives them a platform to be like, okay, no one's booking us, for money to do 4 hours on a Friday.
Right.
But man, we have this opportunity. Let's go out there. And they're getting to be noticed.
And a lot of the benefits, you're going to get in front of a crowd that you normally wouldn't get in front of. And if you get 50 people, you may have 20 of those people that say, hey, I'm going to start going and seeing these people. They're good. So it helps out all the way around in the whole community. So
right. And they are good. And for people that are watching this, that you may not be from the Memphis area, it's worth a vacation to come see these bands. I mean, spend your time here and just come and check some of this out, because they're national level talent.
Yes.
That we have the privilege of seeing anytime we want to.
I can't wait to get Tris. I was going to say Tracy and Chris, but Tris. Maybe that's like Benifer. Right?
Is that going to be our first edit?
Yes. No, leave
that
funny.
In there. That's a good one.
Tracy,
I'm going to start calling him a Tris.
Tracy Rubel, owns that stage.
Yes.
He does. Like he's in an arena.
Yeah.
Yep. He is an entertainer.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's one of the things I love about him.
Yeah.
Us too.
Same,
for sure.
The one time I've been able to see that band, I know there's going to be more times ahead.
Oh, yes.
And they were supposed to, again, timeline continuum here. As we record this, we do have a benefit that we're going to tonight that Fast Mothers was supposed to perform at, but it's since changed, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah, I think the Olive Branch Davidians are playing now. That's all. Yes. That's a hilarious name. Yes. That's great.
I think that was kind of a last minute, let's throw together these guys.
Right.
And just give them a name kind of thing. But Midnight Train is playing, and if y'all haven't seen them, you need to see them.
I have not. So that's the only band that Alan Bone plays in that I haven't seen yet.
Alan Bone is an absolute, complete badass.
Yeah, I agree.
He's been in here too.
I'm looking forward to that one.
He was our first interview, honestly. I told Jeff today when we decided to go, I'm like, we're stalking this guy. But yeah, we like Alan because he hits those drums hard. But you know what? Also an awesome voice.
Yes.
Sings his ass off.
For sure.
His voice, I might get in trouble for saying this, has come a long way in probably 2 years.
Yeah.
When I first, I'm saying 2 or 3 years, when he got with EMN and was doing backing with them,
Right.
I was kind of like, push the mic away. But now his voice, I guess he's learned his voice, and now he sings.
Yeah.
And there's like 4 or 5 songs that he sings with Midnight Train and also with Chasing Angels.
Yeah.
I was just going to bring that up.
He sounds great.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. We talked about that with Alan because we had just seen Chasing Angels, and you were there at Hadley's the night before we interviewed him. And I didn't say this part to him, but I remember we were there listening, and I think I was eating the sausage cheese plate where we had, and I heard a Judas Priest song.
Yes.
And just my ears just assumed it was still Max singing. And I look up, it was Alan.
Yeah.
And it just fit right in. Yep. It's not like it was some drastic change and someone was like off pitch, whatever. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And I always have respect for drummers that can sing because much like bass players too, it just mechanically really just is hard, you know?
Right.
And when I see drummers up there singing their tail off, and they can't hear themselves.
Right.
You know, unless they have good in-ears.
He does.
Yeah, so maybe he's got a good mix for himself, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. You're trying to sing while you're hitting a cymbal.
Yeah.
You know.
But him now, I look forward to hearing him sing. I really do because he sounds so great. The songs that he sings, he fits those songs.
Yeah.
He sings them great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about you a little bit. So what got you involved in the scene? I mean, I know you've been here for a long time and you've been helping for a long time. How did you get involved in that, and what keeps you going? What keeps you doing it?
Well, back in, I'm going to say around 90-ish, I went to a party one night and met David Tidwell.
Okay, I remember David.
With Jade. Mm-hmm. And I started hanging out at the band room with them. And Aces High, they shared a band room.
Okay.
And Tony Smith had a big double bass, huge kit, and I started helping him with his kit.
Okay.
Well, turned around and started helping Chris Owens with his kit. And next thing it's, all right, let me get the drums done, and then I'll help everybody else.
Right.
And it progressed to me just doing that. That was my part of, I don't sing, I can't play an instrument. I love music.
Yeah.
This is my contribution to what y'all do.
Yeah.
I want you to continue doing what you do.
Yeah.
So if me being there, supporting you, helping you load your gear in and out will bring you back tomorrow night, I'm here to do it.
Well, that's awesome, man. And
so
I got involved much the same way. I helped Dan Fowler with his drums in Disturbance back when they were here in the early 90s, late 80s. And that's how I got started in this scene mainly.
Right.
And then decided I wanted to step it up and play as well. And there you have it. But
I had a kid at the time. I had started playing, was learning how to play, and I got into it with those. And I was like, I just sold my kid.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to help out than it is to move your own crap.
Yes. So, and we moved in 91. We moved to New Orleans, and I went to work for a band down there called Paris.
Okay.
They were New Orleans, that scene at that time. I don't know if it's still the same now, but back then there was 2 bookers.
Yeah.
You worked for one of them or you didn't work.
Okay.
Period. They controlled the music scene down there.
Right.
And I worked for a band called Paris, and they were kind of a glam rock.
What year is this again?
91. We went and played out Homa. We went out to Homa to play a bar. And when we rolled up, we were scared to get out the car.
Yeah.
We went in and set up, and when the people started coming in, they're like, look, when shit breaks off, grab everything and throw it in the van, and we will be waiting on you. And I'm like, what? Really? Because, I mean, this is like skateboard, weird, out there kind of music, and we're playing
not
pop.
Yeah.
And when they started playing, everybody's like looking at you like, who are these people? Why are they here?
Right.
So they played, about 2 hours. We got out, never went back. But in New Orleans, they had a good following. They had a real good following.
Sure.
Basically got married, had kids. And I got out of it. My daughter was born in 92. We got married in 92, and we moved back up here. When my daughter was born, I said, I'm not raising a kid in New Orleans. Right? Because back then it was 100 times worse then than what it is now here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we moved back up here, and it was just, the past 30 years was raising a family.
Sure.
And once the kids got grown, I wanted to get back into it. We went to...
And when did that happen?
About 8 or 10 years ago, we went to, I want to say it was White Snake out at Snowden Grove.
I was there.
And we were sitting, I got to sit up front. It's not all about listening to the music. I want to feel the music. I want to be up front.
Is that the show that EMN opened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why we went, because Trav was playing.
Okay.
Yes. I wanted to see Trav because I hadn't seen him in 30 years.
Me too. That's the last time I saw Travis.
We were, Todd Poole went by. We were sitting there talking, and I seen him walk by, and I was like, that was Todd. I'll be back. I jumped up and chased him down and talked to him. He's like, man, I got this band 714.
Yep.
You got to come check us out. And I was like, all right. And I started going to see them.
Right.
And I started helping them and got right back into it.
Right.
So
awesome.
It just grew from there.
And Jimmy Folk was playing drums for 714? Is that right?
No. At that time, Garrett Marshall was playing.
Okay.
Garrett was playing drums, and
Bill Marshall's son?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. Robbie. Robbie was playing guitar.
Okay.
He plays in a couple of bands, cover bands.
Okay.
Him and Garrett usually are in a band together.
I got you.
No matter what the band is, they usually stick pretty close together.
Okay.
And then of course 714 changed different drummers, different guitarists, and everything. I do believe Matt Dees was playing with them back then.
Okay.
And of course, then they evolved back to Roxy Blue.
Right.
I hooked back up with EMN, and the first time I seen Rick and talked to him, him and Troy's basically the only original members,
right?
You could say.
Right.
I walked up to him. I said, "Man, I'm gonna tell you. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I'm sorry. Back then, I was a total asshole. If you were not in Jade or Aces High,
right,
you didn't exist.
Right.
I don't care who you are. I don't care if you got a record label or not. You're no good.
Yeah.
The only other band at that time back then that I really went and looked at and watched was Roxy Blue. And the main reason I went to see them was because of Sid.
Yeah.
God, he was a
monster.
Unreal.
Yeah, he was.
So, but yeah, it just, like I said, it just evolved from there. When EMN come off the stage out there, I told my wife, I said, I'll be back in a few minutes. She said, where are you going? I said, I'm going back there to see Travis.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going? I'm just going to walk back there.
Right.
I walked around to the gate, and the guard standing at the gate, I walked up to him. He said, can I help you? I said, I'm going to see Travis. He opened the gate and let me through.
There you go.
And I would just walk straight on in like, I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
So, and that was the first time I seen him, like I said, in 30 years.
Yeah.
Since Aces High.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I guess you could say me hooking back up with Todd,
right,
is what got me back into it.
Well, I really want to get Travis in here, so if you can contact that dude and Travis, please watch this.
I'll tell you where he lives. You go knock on his door.
I may have to because he's a hermit.
We might have to hire him as our booker.
There you go.
I know you've been doing killer, Jeff, but this guy,
hey, he's got connections.
If you know 10, he knows 100.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. I hope
you know a lot.
So you perked my ear earlier in the story of when you first got started in this, and you mentioned like a band room, and bands were sharing a band room.
Yes.
Was that a place that people could and bands could rent space?
Yes.
Oh, let's hear about that.
You're looking at like just north of State Line Road on 51, Eye Ear Optical.
What was it called?
Eye Ear Optical. It's still there.
Okay.
Well, it's in that building. You walk down a hallway and there's different office spaces. So these two bands rented this office space.
Yeah.
And Jade had the main, and Aces High had like the side room over here.
Okay.
And that was the practice room.
So is that space still available for bands?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
That was
believe
30
so.
years ago.
So it wasn't so much a well-known advertised place for bands. It was just they happened to find a place that worked. That's awesome.
Right. Because I haven't seen anybody that actually advertises, hey, we have a band room.
Well, that's why it sparked my interest, because that is absolutely what Memphis is missing. We'll give a shout out to Memphis Music Room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If no one knows about Memphis Music Room,
yes.
it's on Shelby Oaks Drive,
Shelby Oaks, yes.
off of Sycamore.
It is the old Shriners building.
That's right, and it's multi rooms, big stage, little room.
Yes.
And we somehow found that with Derek Joseph, gentleman we play with. So shout out to him.
Yep.
But without him and before him, like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and out in Nashville, I mean, you can trip over a sidewalk and land in a rehearsal spot, you know, but man, it's really missing around here, isn't it?
I went to Brooks and Airways area. There's a bunch of old office spaces. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And it's not in the kind of neighborhood that you want to be in at night. And that was where 714 had their rental space at. And when I went in, it's a bunch of office type spaces.
Right.
They're little rooms like this. And every one of them, there's a band in each one of them.
Yeah.
That's the practice room. Well, when I went to New Orleans, they were practicing in storage units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you open up the door and there's the band set up.
And you know that must have sounded great.
Yeah. So,
well, Memphis Music Room has really got it going on.
Yes.
If you have a band, you want to prepare for a big show, big stage. You got all the room in the world. You can set up everything, and
the rooms are furnished with various backline items.
Yeah.
If you're a keyboard player, Jeff,
I'm not.
No, but you know how many keyboards they have.
Oh
there.
yeah.
It's an ongoing joke. There's 1,000 keyboards in one of those rooms.
Yeah.
Yep. We were actually when they first kicked that place off, EMN Roxy Blue played up there.
Okay.
And we were all discussing the fact of how easy it's going to be because they have the mobile platforms. You set your drum kit up.
Yeah.
When that band gets done, you push that one off, you bring the next one in, lock him down, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Instead of tearing it down, you're just in and out. It's so easy.
It's great.
And yes, I told the guy back then that had it, this is a mini Mid-South Coliseum. This is a perfect place to bring in national bands, have local bands opening for them. I mean, you've got a huge area for huge audience.
Yeah.
And the sound in there is great. So,
and they shoot music videos in there. We saw that recently.
Yeah, so they have nice lighting in there. So, Jeff, what's the name of the owner of the Memphis Music Room again?
It's Johnny.
Okay, and he's a character.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we're going to bring him in for an interview, but we're going to set aside like 4 hours, Johnny.
He's a talker.
He likes to talk.
He's a talker.
But that's okay. He's got a lot to share.
Yeah, that's going to be a 3-parter.
Yeah.
A mini-series.
A mini-series,
But yeah, full of energy, passionate.
Yes.
He really wants to bring in this new thing, which is needed.
Yes.
He found a need, and he's trying his best to fill that need as best as possible, for sure. And he's got a lot invested in that place.
Yes.
And he has from what I can tell, he's not going to be pumping the brakes anytime soon.
Right.
Good. You know, he's cruising along there. But
I'm looking forward to what that place can bring in. The acts that they can bring into that place, and the amount of people that you can put in that place. It's nice.
Well, let me just say, I think we need an EMN, Roxy Blue, Tora show at the Memphis Music Room. Let's make that happen. Let's just big Memphis-made Memphis music.
Yes.
Also, he's leaving. He's renting out the space to other events. He had a UFC event there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Midget wrestling.
Yep.
If you'll do the midget toss, I'm there. So
The midget toss.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're doing all kinds of events there. There's concessions. They have an alcohol permit, so you can go get hammered and toss a midget.
Get hammered.
Yeah.
And in the back, any wrestling fans out there, in the back, there's an old Memphis wrestling 18-wheeler trailer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got Jerry Lawler on the side, and
We may have to get Charlie Belt and Bob Boscia in there.
yeah,
Set a ring
the
up.
wrestling freaks.
Yeah.
I love wrestling. I don't watch it anymore, but I'm a historian at it.
Yeah,
I watch and listen to any documentary I can get my hands on. I love it. I'm a big Jim Cornette fan. Anyone out there?
Yeah.
Jim Cornette.
I'm a Jim Cornette guy.
Hell yeah.
There's Jim Cornette guys, and there's not
Right.
Jim Cornette guys.
Right.
I'm absolutely one.
I guess you
love
didn't
that
like
guy.
Downtown Bruno.
Who's that?
Downtown Bruno.
Is that an old Memphis wrestler?
Yeah,
Because I don't know. I don't know the
no,
history of
he
like
was
the
he
territories
was,
by person.
manager?
Yeah, he was a manager.
Say his name again.
Downtown Bruno. Yeah.
Man, I don't.
Yeah, he was a
I guess I'm a
wrestling
pretty
man.
weak historian.
Well,
but,
no, it was probably just
Yeah.
a local Memphis guy,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I don't go that deep to all the different people within the territories, but I'm
Right.
fascinated by learning about the territories.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about
you
it.
know.
We had a run here with wrestling that would
Yeah.
rival
Yes.
anything in the country.
I mean, I don't know the players outside of Lawler,
Right.
but
God,
But
fabulous
Memphis-
ones.
Memphis across the board. I've watched enough to know that Memphis is highly respected as one of the top
Yeah.
territories.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
So
Saturday morning. You sit down and watch wrestling.
yeah, it was.
Wrestling goes off and Bruce Lee comes on.
And then Monday night, you had to be at the Mid-South Coliseum to see it all live.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's really
it was
cool.
a big deal here.
So they tape it on Monday and then air it the following Saturday. Is that
No,
what you
Monday
did?
was actually live
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The what you would watch on Saturday morning is in the studio wrestling.
The
Yeah.
studio wrestling. That's
Yeah.
right. There's
And
two
they-
different things.
They
yeah.
would show clips from the
Yeah.
previous
Right.
Monday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now they would call that a house show in,
Right.
in the arena. It's a house show.
Right.
You know.
Have you watched The Rock?
I have
series?
not touched it.
Okay,
Yeah.
you need to watch it.
Yeah.
You need to watch
Is it
because
good?
they've actually been shooting here in South Haven area.
Because isn't he from Walls? Dwayne
He's
Johnson?
not from here. No. He lived in Walls
That's
with
it. Oh.
Downtown Bruno.
Okay, so that was back because he started in this territory way back when, right? Because his dad was legendary as well.
Yep.
I love how this turned into a wrestling conversation.
I'm learning things right now. I'm just listening.
It's very educational to watch because there's a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know because I'm like, I was around that area at that time and I didn't realize that The Rock was living right there.
Right.
So, yeah.
I got you.
That's cool.
Yeah. And for those watching and listening, if you don't know the accent that you're hearing from myself and Steve, we're from Canada. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm from Mississippi. Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, I
Well,
can't help it.
man, this has been great. You brought a list of bands, and are there anyone on that list that we haven't touched on yet that you would like to talk about?
Everybody.
Well, let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Tell us. Give us what
It's
you got.
kind of I didn't want to leave anybody out.
I bet
really.
I know who some of them are, and we've probably
So-
already talked about them, but we'll
Yeah.
talk again. That's fine.
Every one of these bands are bands that I go see and I recommend everybody to go see because they are great, excellent bands. They are right here in Memphis. And it's everything from country to rock to the Mothers is a jazzy, bluesy rock.
Right.
I mean, it don't matter what genre you like, you're going to get it right here.
Right.
And it's everybody from EMN, Roxy Blue, the Fast Mothers, Fever Tree.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all have heard of Roses Unread.
I have heard of them. I have not seen them.
They are great.
I'll have to check
They are
them out.
great. Of course, Hammer Down Hard. I don't know if they're still playing or not.
Right.
Nutbush Superstar,
Don't know them.
Twinkie,
Okay.
Tor. Everybody knows Tor.
Yeah.
Elevation, Memphis.
Yeah.
Y'all were talking. Y'all going to get them in.
Yes.
They are great.
Yeah.
Great people. Jay Jones, Derek Joseph.
Oh, well, thank you. Derek, thanks you.
We paid him,
Yeah.
didn't we, Jeff?
Yep. Lots of money.
These are all that are now. I'm leaving out the ones from way back. The Electric Nobodies.
I've heard of them.
They are great.
Okay.
Grape. I've seen them. They are great.
Okay.
If you want to go see a cover band,
Yep.
I'm sorry. 6 Feet Thunder is the best cover band in Memphis.
Well, look,
Is that a controversial comment there?
Well, anytime you say best, but you are certainly entitled to that opinion, and that's a look. I've seen videos, and it would be hard to argue.
They are spot on.
Yeah.
The music that they play.
Yeah.
They play. I mean, you've got a stage full of stars.
Yep.
From different bands that come together and form this band.
Yeah.
And they play a big variety of music. They play stuff that other bands do not play.
Right.
What got me, they played Honeymoon Suite.
Yeah.
And they played, it was right there and I forgot it. There's two one-hit wonder rock band songs that you don't hear.
Right.
And when they played, I was like, where did that come from? I ain't heard that in 30 years since I don't have a cassette player no more, you know? Midnight Train.
Yeah.
Midnight Train is great. Headband, Brian Johnson Band.
Yep.
He is Stevie Ray.
Okay.
I mean, it's unreal to watch him and listen to him play. Chasing Angels, they're heavier, but they are absolutely great.
Yeah.
Carrie, unreal.
Yeah.
Ethical Suicide Parlor. I don't know if y'all seen them yet. Okay. Alice in Chains cover band.
Oh, so like a tribute to a certain band. Nice.
And they are good. Jimmy Fulp is on drums.
Okay.
Jace sings.
All right.
Troy is the bass player. Gunner plays guitar. And the other guitar player, I can't remember.
I didn't know the existence of this band. I got to check this out.
Yep. They played at B-Sides, I want to say about a month ago. And they actually have Jace. They're supposed to be announcing, I think, this week. They've got another show coming up.
Okay.
There's a new band out that has only played once that I know of that I would like to see, a band called Sleep Theory.
Okay.
I think they're original. A guy I used to work for, his son is a guitarist in it. And I went on YouTube and watched a couple of their videos, and they are like Seven Dust. They're just badass. They are great, great young band. But for the majority of it, I'm probably leaving somebody out. I'm sorry. I try to write everybody down.
You can't help but leave people out, and that's never intentional. It happens.
Yeah.
Everybody that we can think of is going to get mentioned on this show at some point.
But clearly, these bands touched you in some way.
Yeah.
You know, for the fact that you're listing them out, they've affected you in some positive way. So it's no problem to shine that.
And you have a lady, I don't want to forget her, Tori Tollison. She does a lot of acoustic stuff, and she has got a voice. I would say Janis Joplin reborn. She sounds to me, she sounds just like Janis when she sings.
Okay.
She's got a great voice. But other than that, I mean, I try to support everybody. I try to promote all the bands. If I see a band playing, y'all are playing at Hadley's tonight, I'm going to share it.
Right.
And if I'm going to see this band, I'm going to share it all week, 2 or 3 times a day. Right. So I get a lot of, man, how do you go to all these shows? Well, just because I'm sharing the show don't mean I'm going to it. Now, if I put a picture on there of me being there, then that's a different story.
Let me ask you this, because I have been thinking about this as I'm trying to go out more myself. And is there a central location online to go to see what a Friday night looks like around town, what a Saturday night looks like around town, whether it's cover or original? Does that exist?
Honestly, no. But there is something in the progress, in the process of being done.
Okay.
The guy has approached me about helping him with it, but I don't think he's really sunk into it, really dove into it. He does it for other cities, but he don't do it here yet. He's just getting started here.
Okay. Yeah. And you definitely would be a go-to.
Oh yes, I would,
because you're keeping track of everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hate to say just go to my Facebook page, because I'm going to share
Yeah.
the majority of the bands that are playing and where they're playing at, because you have to go to Hadley's. You have to look at their list. You have to go to Lafayette. You have to look at their list.
Right.
You have to go to Neil's and look at their list to see who's playing and when they're playing.
Yeah, it certainly
and
takes.
a lot of people don't want to do that.
Right. It takes research. It takes work to do that.
Right.
But it would be nice to be like, it's a Friday. I feel like going to check out a band. Do I want a cover band or an original? Tonight I'm in the mood for let's see an original band that I haven't seen before. So then you go to this platform, and that would be awesome to have. So I don't know. Maybe we have to do something about that.
It just hit me. I forgot somebody that y'all really. I know y'all haven't seen him because I haven't seen you there. Carlos Echoes.
I have not seen him.
Say that name again.
Carlos Echoes.
Carlos Echoes.
He plays a few cover. He's getting more to playing his originals now. He has a great Carlos Santana sound. It's I love listening to him. I don't care where he plays at for the majority. I go see him. I don't like going down on Bill Street.
Right. We understand.
Yeah. I don't like going on Bill Street. Back in the day, that's where we lived at. Right. Now, it's totally different. But Carlos I can't believe I missed you, Carlos. I'm sorry. You was on my list. You were number 3, and I skipped right over you.
No worries. You got him in there.
No one's keeping tabs.
No.
And if you are keeping tabs, come on, get a life.
Get real.
Well, man, awesome. Thanks for stepping in today. Is there anything we're missing? I don't want to cut you off here. At some point, all podcasts come to an end.
Yeah.
But we
could talk for hours.
I know, right?
We could talk for hours.
So, Jeff, did you have any other questions you wanted to go?
I think we covered it all.
Cool. Well, look, man, Steve Owens, the Memphis Batman. That's what we're calling him.
Yeah.
That
works. The
roadie of the century.
Yeah.
Look, thank you for being here, man. Let's do some call to action. I'm going to put your Facebook in our description so that people can go to it. Is there any other place you'd like people to go to as far as websites or socials or anything? Your Facebook would be
just Facebook. I share everything on Facebook. I don't really get on Instagram that much, and I've never Twittered. So everything is on Facebook. Like I said, thank y'all for doing what y'all do.
Thank you, man.
Thank all of the musicians in Memphis for doing what they do and continuing to do what they do.
Awesome.
Because without them, where would we be?
And I'm going to mention how this doesn't exist without the musicians too. But anyways, thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you to the audience for listening to the Rhythm Section podcast. We totally appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, where can people go to get more of this podcast?
Well, you can follow us on Facebook. We do have the Rhythm Section Pod now, active Facebook page. Check us out at YouTube at the Derek Michoud channel. Yeah, and I have to spell that name because it's not as simple as Jeff Ward.
In parentheses in your script, it says spelling in description.
So Derek is pretty self-explanatory, Derrick, but the last name will get you. It's M-I-C. Let me look and make sure I do this right.
K-E-Y.
H-A-U-D.
We ran out of music.
Edit.
No, it's fine. It's my damn last name. Screwed it up too long.
And we are on the major platforms now, Spotify, Apple.
Stitcher, and for those, follow, rate, and review if you could. And again, like you mentioned, Steve, I want to thank the community here.
Yes.
The music community here is strong. I'm so glad that we're getting to know it. And this show wouldn't exist without it. People like yourself coming on here, the musicians spending their time to come down here all the way to Hernando. We do appreciate that. And until next time, that's Jeff.
That's Derek.
And we'll talk to you later. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.